Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Okay. I would like to welcome you all today in our technical presentation given by Mr. Imad Al-Sadeq from representing Thiqa Consultants here in the region. Imad is a well-known consultant in the area of project management, and currently he is the Education Foundation Liaison with PMI Headquarter Office in the US. His experience, in fact, I know Imad for the last 3 years, and I preferred my casual introduction with Imad. We first met Imad almost about 2 years when we started thinking about launching 2 PMOs here at Qatar University, one for the information technology and the other one for the business operation departments. And we work together, and currently also Imad is attending all of our Arabian Gulf chapter board meetings as education advisor for us, for the board. Imad got full depth of knowledge when it comes to project management, when it comes to his way of consultation and training and project management. He really have it all, have the width and the depth in the project management. And I always liked his style when it comes to teaching project management or the PMB certifications. Of course, Imad, he's a PMB certified, he's a OPM3, and he's one of the, really we consider him as the ace consultants for Arabian Gulf chapter. I would like to welcome him tonight, and he's going to give us a presentation on the Agile Project Management Office, and I would like to welcome him. Thank you.
I just want to add something to this nice introduction. I'm a student of Dr. Alhamdulillah, salatu salam ala Rasulullah. Welcome everyone. Thanks for coming to this session, Agile session. Usually people mix between the ideation and innovation. Actually, ideation is a part of innovation. Innovation is applied ideation. Today, what I'm trying to share with you is some ideation, some ideas. And I will leave the complete cycle of innovation to you. I will leave to you how to apply what we will share together. Agile, a common word. Some people call it Agile, but I would prefer to say it Agile. Why and what and how to apply it. I will share with you some thoughts, some ideas. But before I share all of that, this is a brief about me. Usually when I go to any training, any session, I would advise if you try to keep these few points in your mind, just try to be now and here. A lot of things going in our minds all the time. Please dedicate this 1 hour, about 1 hour, for this session. Try to concentrate. Try to be here and now. Try, once we mention any idea, to apply it in your field, apply it in your company. Just think, is this applicable for me or not? Can I tweak it somehow and apply it or not? Consider yourself will give a summary of this session to one of your colleagues, to your manager, to your team. This will increase the concentration in the coming 1 hour. And the last point, please prepare your questions. If not today, send it to my email. I'll show it at the end of the session, and we will try to keep in touch and answer these questions. Today we will discuss a lot of things, actually. That's why I need your full concentration. We will discuss what is Agile, what is behind Agile, why Agile, why to go to Agile. Is it applicable for all fields, all projects, all the time? What is the difference between Agile and the traditional project management? We will discuss some experience I had with Agile, some good and not so much good points, and we will go together. Why Agile? I don't like it when some people introduce something new by saying something bad about the old things. When we are discussing Agile, we are not saying that this is replacement for the traditional project management. Usually people, when they talk about Agile, they say this is the right solution. It's not necessarily the right solution. People start with saying that almost 32% of projects are challenging. A lot of projects are failed. And people tend to say this is because of the traditional project management way. No, this is not right at all. Actually, I believe this is coming from the way of measuring the project success. We are not measuring the project success in the proper way. Project success, usually when we discuss it in traditional project management, we relate it to the treble constraints, which became competing demands in the latest 2 version of PMI-AGC. They used to call it treble constraints, but in the 4th and the 5th edition, they called it competing demands. If you are not on the schedule, your project is not succeeding. If you are behind the schedule, if you are over budget, this is not a good project. I believe this is not right 100%. The travel constraints is not enough to judge if your project is a successful one or not. Let's have some examples for that. This is a famous project done on 1996 by Kodak. You remember in the old days when we used to buy the film and put it inside the camera and just try to get 2 or 3 shots in the beginning because they will not be printed. They invented something very unique at that time. Just to bring the film, plug it, and that's it. And it will be printed easily. Just bring it out, put it inside another machine, it will be printed. It was an amazing project. That's why PMI recognized it as International Project of the Year. And also, Business Week selected it, the system, as one of the best new products. What happened after that? What happened that Kodak stock price went down. Although from project management point of view, this is a wonderful project. What happened that stock price fallen 67 because of the digital photography. They didn't take care of this new technology. So the project management was successful, while the project wasn't. On the other side, this is a famous building. Actually, this is the most recognized building in the world currently. Once you see it, you remember Sydney. This project, time plan, the original schedule, the planned schedule was 4 years. Finished after 14 years. The original budget was only 7 million. The actual cost became 102 million. Guess what? Only in 1 year, the total income was 120 million. What does that mean? Although this project, from project management point of view, was a failure. Behind the schedule, 10 years. And over the budget, 100 million. Now, in 1 year, we got the whole actual cost in 1 year. So what? What I'm trying to say that it's not only project management success, neither product success. Don't concentrate only on balancing between the cost, quality, and risk, and all other competing demands. Think about the whole project success, where the project management is a part of it. Project success consists of different factors. One of it is the competing demands. One of it is contribution to the organizational strategy. One of it is stakeholders' satisfaction. A combination between all these factors could lead to the project success. And the most important is producing a new or added value by finishing this project. I would suggest, and actually I see these things coming to reality in the last or the latest PMBOK edition. Project success in the latest PMBOK has a different definition. The meaning of benefits, if you are aware of program management and benefit realization, the meaning of benefits started to appear with the project success criteria. So, looking for value, a lot of things we are doing not necessarily adding value to our way of management. If you are only focusing on individuals and interactions if you are concentrating only on process and tools without giving enough concentration and enough attention to individuals and interactions, you are losing some values. The same goes for all of this. We will discuss this in details after a while. The point here, project success, not necessary to be measured against cost, time, and even quality. I heard that a client told me, get whatever resources you want, whatever money, whatever time you need, but give me something perfect. In this case, the quality was the criteria of project success or product success. In another situation, give me something, but please don't spend more than this amount of money. In this case, the criteria was different. So project success, not necessarily one criteria, not necessarily the same criteria all the time. That's why Agile is here. And again, it's not a replacement for the traditional project management. Actually, I'll say a lot about Agile after a while. Just telling you this is a very good report about Agile. You can have it through this website. Actually, a lot of things could be read there. Why people went to Agile, which we will explain in a few minutes. Usually people think about the accelerate time to market, manage changes, increase productivity. What are the benefits of Agile? Ability to manage changes, priorities, increased productivity, improved project visibility. The only stable or the only constant thing in the world is the change. Agile is an agent of change. Agile is an agent of change. If we are working in changeable environment, changeable requirements, I believe static process or predefined process or phases may be not the right solution. We have to get some agility in our mindset. What is Agile? There is a common manifest. You can find it also on agilemanifesto.com. They are discussing the different values. There are a lot of values coming out of the traditional way, and also a lot of values coming out of the new agility mindset. And instead of focusing only on individuals, we have to, again, and instead of focusing only on process and comprehensive documentation and contract negotiation and following up plan, we have to think about the changeable requirements, the changeable environment, the changeable needs. One of the mistakes project manager is doing always, that he is following the orders of client, not the needs. There is a big difference between the orders and the needs. Seek what is behind these orders. What are the real needs, which usually changeable. Think about customer collaboration more than contract negotiation. One of the things about Agile that change is more than welcome. For project managers, for traditional project management, change is not something good. We have to have a change order. We have to negotiate it. The opposite with Agile. Agile is welcoming the change. Agile is based on about 12 principles. And actually, adopting these principles only is enough to say, I'm working on Agile based. Adopting, thinking about satisfy customer, work together daily as a team, empower your team, have them in one level of structure, not a hierarchical structure. If you have working software, test early, test always, shippable product, this is Agile. If you have simplicity in doing things, it's not necessary to deliver the whole product, the whole software. It's necessary to deliver a small piece of value, accumulated values. If you are welcoming changes, if you trust your team, if you get estimates from them, not sending it to them, if you have face-to-face conversation daily with your team, maybe bi-weekly with the client, if you have all these principles, I believe it's enough to say, I'm working based on Agile. Back to the travel constraints, the traditional way of measuring project success. Agile is proposing a new travel constraints, where the constraints, the traditional constraints is a part of it. But the main constraint, the main demand, the main competitive demand is the value coming out from this product. And instead of focusing only on one of the treble constraints, focus on the value. And let these treble constraints help you achieve this value. The treble constraints is a way of measuring the success of project management, not necessarily the project. Agile is not a methodology. Agile is a framework. Agile is a mindset. Different companies, different institutes try to develop methodologies based on the Agile mindset. Again, Agile is not a methodology itself. It's a framework. Different companies, different teams developed different methodologies based on Agile. That's why we have what we call the SMF, System Development Method. We have feature-driven development. We have XP, Extreme Programming. We have Unified Process, Rational Unified Process. And we have Kanban. we have also different methodologies. The famous one, as per this report, is Scrum. Most of the people, more than 50% of people working on Agile based is using Scrum. There are different methodologies. And again, I have to remind you, just adapting the 12 principles is enough. It's not necessary to follow Scrum or Kanban or XP or whatever. Just having the mindset in your mind is enough to say, I'm working based on Agile. We have agility in our company or department. Using a Scrum will make it easier for you, and we will see why now. Scrum, telling that it's not necessary to have the complete and perfect picture of the software or the product from day one. You have to have a high level, a general idea about all what you are looking for. Are you looking for commercial software or customer relationship software, or are you looking for a new invention or a new product? In general, tell me, as a client, please tell me, what is your wish list? In this wish list, I will list different features we are looking for in something we call product backlog. Product backlog. This product backlog, based on the importance, based on the value I will create, I will prioritize the different features according to its value. Once I have these prioritized features, I will categorize it in what we call sprints. This backlog, product backlog, will be divided into release backlog, will be divided into sprint backlog. This sprint backlog will take about 2 to 4 weeks to be done. The main feature of this sprint backlog that it will deliver something shippable. I can show it to the client. After 2 weeks, client will be able to see something. Even if it is not that deep or high-level features, at least he will be able to visualize what he already ordered. This Scrum is calling for a daily, what we call, daily Scrum meeting. Daily, in the morning, you have 15 minutes. Just saying what went right, what went wrong, what are the lessons learned happened with you. What are you going to do today or in the coming week? Or what is the status of the current sprint you are working on daily basis? That's why we mentioned one of the principles is face-to-face conversation, face-to-face communication. All of us standing in a cycle, no hierarchy, even in that meeting. Scrum is calling for what we call retrospective. After each sprint, and I will show it in details after a while, we review what happened to get more lessons learned. And instead of having traditional team with different hierarchy, we have a circle of people, self-organized, empowered members, able to say, this is my estimation, this is my commitment. And instead of having those away from the client and stakeholders, they are able to communicate with them. Yes, we have different rules within the team, but again, everyone able to produce something, everyone able to communicate his questions and his needs, his clarification to the client directly. And the leader is leading all the team by serving them. You know, in Arabic we have a common saying, خادم القوم سيدهم. The one who is serving people is their master. This is one of the concepts of having empowered team. As a team member, you have to serve each other. As a leader, you have to serve all the team. This is a way of leading your team by being a servant to them. The question is, how can we apply Scrum, Agile, in our organization or department? Is it applicable first for all type of projects? From my point of view, no. If you have a definite scope, if you have something, you don't expect it will be changed, it's a regular, it's an operation, no need to use Agile. Use Agile only if you are sure that requirements may change, if you are in an innovation or new ideas field, this is the right place for Agile to be used. This is an example for how Scrum is working. And again, it's based on Agile. Product backlog divided into sprint backlog. In 2 to 4, we will work on one sprint, and we will have a daily Scrum meeting. Once we finish a sprint, we will get a shippable product where we can show it to our client. More details? We got the inputs from the client, listed in what we call wish list. This wish list is prioritized. We select the team and we plan for sprint in one meeting. This sprint divided into tasks and we start working on it. Sometimes people say 1 or 2 weeks are enough for one sprint. More until 4 is enough. Once we finish it, we got potentially shippable product, which will be reviewed by the client, which we will conduct retrospective meeting where we will mention what went well during that sprint, what was less well, what went less, suggestion for improvement in the coming sprint, what still puzzles us, what still we cannot achieve. After each sprint, we got a new retrospective for what happened during the last sprint. Another terminology you may hear while discussing Agile is the burn down chart. And this is, some people say, if Agile has nothing added except the burn down, that's enough. Usually in project management, once we finish the plan, we have a baseline. Once we try to judge how far we are from the baseline, we are looking to the past. What happened in the past and what we did in the past, and then we can judge. Burn down chart is the opposite totally. What is burn down? Once we have a list of tasks, we estimate each task how many hours it will take. So we start to say, well, I have 4 features. I need about 50 or 45 hours to finish it. Once I finish it, I move to the second feature I want to make it. Let's assume we are today in the Tuesday. In this moment, I know exactly what is coming during the coming few days. And in this moment, I know I finished already this. Actually, I'm looking for the future baseline. Because if I feel I don't have enough resources to finish it, I will ask for more resources to join my team. So the burn down chart telling you exactly what you have in the future to do, not what you're supposed to do in the past. Burnout chart is a way of managing your schedule in Agile. In Agile, we have different rules in the same team. One of them, we call it product owner. Actually, the product owner represents the whole work being done within the team and communicate it with the stakeholder and with the business owner. Another one, the Scrum Master, and which is almost the project management, not necessarily the equal project management. The Scrum Master represents the team ideas, the future plan for the business owner, yes. As a as a Scrum Master, you have to deal with your team in different way than the traditional way of project manager. You have about 7 levels of authorities to act upon with your team. And actually it starts by being the dominant, just telling the decision, and end by delegate the full authority to your team. And you have to check which level you have to use with each one based on the situation. One of the project team, Scrum team, is everyone working on that team. Usually, if we are talking about software, 5 to 9 people is enough for more following up, for more interaction. Imagine that you are working together, meeting daily in the morning usually, discussing everything. 5 to 9 is more than enough. You could have different teams, by the way. That's why Agile is scalable. It's not necessarily working on a small size software. Where is the title of project manager goes in Agile? Some people consider the project manager is the Scrum Master or the product owner. But at the end of the day, as a servant leader, you may work as a product owner, you may work as product Scrum Master, you can work on any other role as a servant, as a leader servant. Where to use Agile? This is an important. Can I use Agile in construction field? Is it possible? I don't think this is the right approach for construction. But it's the right mindset. Don't go and use the Scrum, but use the principles. Remember the principles? Keep the customer satisfied. This is applicable in construction or in any other field. Face-to-face conversation, the most effective way of communication. Simplicity, the best, actually it's some kind of genius. Being simple is being genius. All the principles is applicable all over industries. So as a mindset, as agility, even on the strategic level, usually companies or any organization has their own deliberate strategy. And usually, this deliberate strategy is not achieved 100%. Some emergent strategy interfere this deliberate strategy. That's what we call emergent strategy. Agile is there in the strategic level in the program level, in the project level, even in the task level. It's a mindset, that's it. Agile is a mindset more than a methodology. So, Agile, the best place to use Agile is the software. Don't wait. Even the word milestone. In another paper I presented, I said milestones is not any more valid. You have to think about footstone, not a milestone. Don't wait 2 months, 3 months until you finish something and ship it to the client. This is too long time to be away from the client. Try to work next to them. Don't think about milestone. Think about footstone. Think about day or week stone. So the software, especially since we are talking about different features, don't wait until you have the full featured product and deliver it to the client. Go finish the most important feature to the client, the most valuable feature for the client, and show it to them. Is this exactly what you are looking for? Is there any enhancement we can do it? Is there any lessons learned we can fix it in the future? So software is the best place for Agile. And everywhere is the best place for the mindset of Agile. Don't use Agile. Can you imagine if you are building a whole building and after you finish half of it, because you are Agile, you need to change it, so you will change everything. This is not applicable all the time, although some of owners ask for that. How to adopt Agile? If I'm working in government, some entities in some governments having lazy people who don't want to interact, who don't want to give feedback, who don't want to sign. Is it the right place to do that? Usually buy-in from the top management is a magic key for implementing any new concept. But also empowering people and C-level employees is another magic key. Try to think about Agile as a change project. Change usually start with unfreezing, reform, and freeze. This is one of the Agile change models, change management model. To unfreeze what is frozen a long time ago, reform, then refreeze it again. Another change management model called ADKAR: awareness, desire, knowledge, ability, and reinforce. There are different models for change management. But in general, think of Agile, implementing Agile, feeding Agile mindset to your company as a change management project. This is important to be able to adopt the Agile concept. Get the buy-in, select one of the projects you think it's applicable for Agile. Make it a pilot. Make it a story, success story. Do a lot of propaganda surrounding this project. Build the team, establish framework, not necessarily Scrum, not necessarily XP, not necessarily Kanban, whatever methodology you will follow. Again, it's a set of principles. It's a set of principles. Usually we go after tools. The main objective of any tool is to reduce or save your time, save your effort. What is the right tool for Agile? Guess what? Most of the Agile users or Agile followers are using what? Excel. Some of them goes after project, Microsoft project. But again, one of the companies I worked for, when we used Agile, we had no tool. We had only whiteboard and yellow paper to stick at. That was our tool. And it worked about 3 years, fine and great. So it's not necessary what tool. The necessary is the mindset. Using what tool doesn't matter. So Excel is a good one. Microsoft is a good one. Version 1, which this report coming from, is a good one also. And usually there are barriers for adopting Agile. The biggest barrier is the ability to change the organizational culture. I'm not talking about the subculture now. I'm talking about the organizational culture. You know, there is organizational culture, and for each department, there is something called subculture. And for each section, there could be another sub-culture. To have Agile in your company, you need to change the organizational culture because you will interface with different people. Actually, you have to sell Agile for the project team members. You have to sell Agile for the sales people. You have to sell Agile to the top management in order to have everyone aligned to Agile. So one of the biggest barrier is ability to change organizational culture. The second one is general resistance to change. Usually people don't like the unknown. That's why awareness session, some training courses would help you a lot. Another one is trying to fit Agile elements into a non-Agile framework. Again, it's not the magic solution. It's not the silver bullet. It's not the one size fit to all. You have to think where exactly Agile will fit in your organization and different other barriers. One of the good initiatives PMI did recently is having a new certificate for Agile. Among the list of certificates, we have PMI-AGC currently, and there are about 2,600 certified professionals in Agile. To have these, there are some prerequisites: 2,000 hours working on project teams, not necessary as a Scrum Master or project manager, 1,500 working on Agile project teams, not necessary as a team leader or product owner, and training on Agile, 21 at least contact hours, and to get or to make the exam. This is the current number, and I believe this is something unique to add to your signature. Not only as a mindset, but also as a proof that you worked, that you learned, that you interacted in Agile way. Final thoughts. Empowering team is empowering the product, the output you are expecting. Empowering team, asking them for the real estimation, build the real commitment. They will try to do it exactly as they promised. Productivity is compromised when changes are made to team compression. Welcome change. Don't fight changes. Welcome it. Try to adapt it in your burn down chart. Work close to the client. Don't stay away for 2 or 3 months and then come back with something maybe he changed his mind. Try to sell Agile to your top management, to your team members, to your marketing people, to everyone. If not as a framework, if not as a methodology, at least as a mindset. I would like to share with you one last thing before that's what I try to summarize whatever we mentioned during this session. Thank you, and thanks.
Is there any questions?
Questions? Yes, please.
Slides will be available for download?
Yes, I believe Nasser can share it.
Okay. One question is, obviously you said, most probably in all the projects we might not be able to follow the Agile methodology.
Yeah.
One of the challenges that I think majority of the organizations that's going through is the product replacement, which is the majority of the projects that is currently in progress. So have you put any thought process in how we can adapt the Agile methodology in such scenarios where a product replacement happens, wherein the biggest challenge is you have something which is operational already. So we cannot handicap the customer with the functionality which is already there. So one thing is how can we still follow the Agile methodology but achieve,
Well, I believe this is specific software questions where either you will replace the whole system or just adding more features. And there could be a middle place where you have a copy or, let's say, a development environment where you can add more features and show it to the client, the new features. And once you agree upon this new release, you can replace it in another moment. But you can't work on the production environment with Agile. For example, if you have something operational, you can't work on Agile based on something already people are using. Okay? It should be behind the scene, but should be close to the client to visualize what he is looking for. And at the moment, a certain moment when you feel everything is okay, you can migrate to this new.
Okay. Another question that I had is on when we follow the Agile methodology, the challenges of budgeting.
Yes.
Because, when you go Agile, most probably you might not be having that end result or rather the end investment that you might need to make. And many of the companies, we do the budgeting upfront, saying that for yearly, what is that we need to allocate. So don't you think that is a big challenge because following the Agile methodology?
Well, there are different contract types. For Agile, the fixed price is not the preferable one. Time and material could be the best contract type for Agile. So you agree upon some rates, and you will keep the client next to you. You will not invoice anything until he got some value. And this is one of the good things about time and material, and about Agile, having the client close to you, seeing what exactly happened, not staying in your cave until you finish something he doesn't know, how long did you take actually. But this is, I'm talking about 2 weeks. You can deliver something, and you can deliver or issue some invoice accordingly.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This agile methodology can be applicable during that scoping stage only, because changes in the beginning are much easier to be adopted with the less cost, and at the later stage changes are very, very costly when the project is in the different stage, in the execution stage and all.
Okay.
So only scoping stage, yes, your thought process or change can be welcomed.
Well, I can imagine that your question is being asked while you are wearing PMP, for example, hat, because you are seeing things in a sequence way. Scoping, then let's say designing, then programming or implementing, testing, and so on. This is right, exactly. But this is not the case we are talking about, actually. We are talking about changing the mind. You are not working sequential. You are working in parallel. Now, I'm scoping. While I'm scoping, I will not wait for a long time until I program what I scoped already. So it's not necessary to have the detailed scope from day one. I have only a high-level scope using Agile mindset. In this moment, okay, I choose these few features, which I believe the most valuable features for the client. These features, I will detail it, and I will work on it. After that, I will review the whole scope again. No problem for that. This is a new mindset. That's why I'm emphasizing it's a mindset. It's not a methodology. You have to follow it. Even the Scrum. Scrum, yes, it looks like sequential. But even in this sequential, we are working in parallel because we are working only for 2 or to 4 weeks. After that, we can repeat everything again. No problem. So, scoping, the traditional scoping, I agree totally with you. Agile is very good approach for it. But you have to change the whole mindset to adopt Agile. I hope you answered your question. Yes, please.
Regarding the legal issues on the contracting issues, I think this concept of parallel will be obstacles for how to deal with the third parties, how to deal with the parties from the outside organization. How I can force them to commit to our document charter.
Well, again, it's not necessary to have a complete charter in Agile. That's why, again, I'm saying it's a different mindset. Remember the first slide here, we are focusing on workable software more than plan, more than document. We are focusing on tangible or output, valuable output. I agree with you, there is some obstacles in doing that with subcontractor. That's why, again, you have to sell Agile to inside the environment you are working for and outside also. It's not an easy job. It's a change management project, which is usually a hard one.
But there is some legal issues you have to deal with in this case, how to enforce the third party that I am dealing with in some steps that he want to commit with me in the baseline. And as you said, he can make parallel, and maybe he don't know what will happen after 2 weeks.
In what field you are working?
Software development.
Software, great. Well, let's have our contract time and material, okay, at the beginning. This will make your life easy. Time and material, that's it. I will block, let's say, 1,000 hours with these different trades, and you have to invoice these hours let's say in a timesheet based, weekly or monthly. And you are telling me there what exactly you developed, what exactly you did. This is one kind of contract I worked on. Just tell me what exactly you did and I will invoice you. This is from legal point of view. I believe the most important point is not the legal issue, but the mindset. Will they agree to deliver something not completed yet, just 1 or 2 or 3 features? There is an old principle coming from Microsoft, I believe, called TETA. Test early, test always. Combine, every day you have to combine what you did and deliver something workable. This is again a mindset issue.
It will succeed, maybe if you are an in-house software development department, not a third party is engaged with you in this commitment. They will refuse to deal with you in this case.
If you are the client, I believe client is the king.
Yeah.
All the time.
I have a comment on this. It's exactly, it will work for in-house projects and in-house new services that you are developing in-house. In fact, at Qatar University, for the ITS department, we are staying away from time and material. It has been abused with the university, particularly in ITS. You know, in construction, business operation, capital projects, facilities is completely different because you have, materialized product that you can see it and you can easily determine the percent completion, everything. But for ITS department, now completely all of our contracts, we are avoiding time and material. It has been abused with the university. So it's exactly, I support, it will work for launching new services or in-house software development, where you have also, you should have some sort of capital budget. You know what's your capital budget. But when you have limited budget, it will never work again. Yeah.
Well, a part of agile mindset is having mutual trust between you and the client. And if this is hard to happen, yes, it's a big challenge, yes. Yes, please.
When we talk about agile management and agile necessary, specifically in software, we have to be very specific that's more related in product base. So how agile work is like, my expectation is to elaborate in iteration. Agile means iteration, which is like going into stages. Iteration 1, iteration 2, iteration 3, and then you go to the bug fix from software perspective. So the moment you define your features that you're going to deliver it in each iteration, then everything is going to be very clear. So while you are delivering the iteration 1, then you work parallelly, as you mentioned, in iteration 2. So you deliver iteration 1 to the customer, let them test it, do it in production, whatever. But there, it is allowed to put it in production because Agile came with a real-time thing, because the amount of data in the real-time is massive. You cannot test it like previously in the batch. So the best thing is to give them the feature for iteration 1, and then meanwhile you're working in iteration 2. So while you're working in iteration 2, the result of iteration 1, it will come back to you. So you go and fix or enhance and develop, enhance or fix whatever. They call it bug fix in iteration, in Agile. So you fix it and you give them in iteration 3. So by that time, you're going parallel. You give them 1 and then improve it in 3. And then you give them 2. This is how it works in Agile. Contract base, it's based on deliverable. So contractually, you have to be very clear in each iteration what you're going to deliver, what kind of feature, how you're going to charge them cost-wise, all these kind of details. So even contractually in Agile, it depends on the iteration. Plus, the other one is the bug fix itself. Like this is another they consider it's like online or real-time bug fix. So this one in the contract is very clear for the customer. Tell them that, you know what, whatever you have, we're going to do it in bug fix, for example, iteration 2. Bug fixed iteration 3. So my expectation when we talk about Agile, specifically in the software, it's very important to talk a lot and elaborate in the iteration and how iteration works and how you define it, even contractual level. So this is what I understand, and I work a lot in this methodology.
Thank you for your
comments.
Thank you. Any other questions? Yes, please.
Thank you for the nice presentation and the effort put it. I have several questions, but I'll try to summarize.
Yes.
As the concept of Agile may be still premature to the region, I mean the Gulf region, I'd like to ask who is the leader in the region in terms of countries? Which country have adopted it the most? Second, which industry? Third, for executives or for top management to be convinced about implementing or adopting Agile, they need to see what enhancement has been done after adopting Agile to the work for particularly for the top constraints like budget, scope, time, resources, whatever customer satisfaction. So is there any statistics or numbers that you can show us or tell us about?
For the first
Thank
question, thank you. For the first question, I don't think there's some statistics or formal statistics. When I went to this report, actually they didn't get questionnaire from the Middle East, or at least the Arab world. They worked on the Europe and the North America. And all this information I showed earlier coming from them, about 500 Agile practitioners. About the second question, I believe value-based products is the key. If the client believes that the project success, again, not the time, not the cost, but the value, the added value, you will be able to convince your top management to sell this idea to the client, to believe in it and sell it to his clients. This will remain the value. It's not the time, not the cost, the value. Usually, the word of mouth is talk about value, not about cost, not about time. This is the unique product we got from this company, for example.
It's more related to quality?
Yeah, it depends what is the definition you are calling for quality. Is it adherence to the requirements or zero defect or what? It's a combination between all of that among. Any other questions? Yes, please.
When do you consider that you reach the last iteration? I'm not in this area with the construction.
Well, actually, you got a wish list in the beginning, okay? And after each iteration, after each sprint finish, you review this checklist. Sometimes you delete some of these features. You don't think this is valuable one. So once the checklist or the wish list is finished and all of it checked and working, this is when we consider it done. I will not consider it shippable until he approve it, review it, and approve it. The customer.
Would you like to work with all these iterations?
Yes. After each sprint, you have to discuss the output with the client or the customer until you finish all these features or the wish list you agreed upon.
The customer can expect to have the software at a certain point of time. In fact, he will get it later.
Exactly. Remember what we called burn down chart. In the beginning, after you collect the estimation from the team members, you have a, let's say, a plan or a schedule. You need this amount of hours to finish the work. After each sprint, you are updating this amount of hours. So the client knows exactly when the last features will be finished. Got it? Thank you.
We will take one last question, and we can continue with the refreshments outside. There is no question? Okay.
Yes, please.
Who owns Scrum methodology?
Who what?
Who owns?
Well, I don't have exact answer for this now, actually. But I can Google it, or you can Google it, actually.
Because any field is an ever-evolving field, right? So somebody should be updating. Like project management, PMI is taken care of.
Yes.
So same way, somebody should take care about Scrum methodology.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I would like, at the end, I would like to thank Mr. Imad Sadeq for his fruitful technical presentation today.
New Zealand.